everyone, welcome to my first video blog of The Foodie. I'm Danielle and today I'm going to be sharing with you something I've been so excited about for a while now. A family that I work for actually turned me on to this book, My Bread by Jim Leahy, and a lot of you guys have been asking me, how are you baking that bread? It's beautiful, I want the recipe, and today I'm going to give you a little sneak peek and let you see how it's done. Okay, here I am from my tiny kitchen, and first things first, here's what you're gonna need. Yes, the cast iron Dutch oven is of extreme importance to the Jim Leahy My Bread book. So if you don't have one, go get one. You can get one at Walmart for 60 bucks. I love my Lodge, that's what I got. There's also the more expensive type, like Le Creuset, which is something I am dreaming of someday. But for right now, while I'm living in a tiny apartment, it shall be the Lodge, and it works just fine. Let's get started. Today we're going to make walnut bread, and for those of you who live in Nashville, you've probably had Bread & Company's Cranberry Walnut bread. I know it's my favorite. And I've been looking for something that I could make at home that isn't so expensive. That loaf of bread is ridiculous how much it costs. So, for all the ingredients here, I'm guaranteeing it's less than, I'd say, $1.50 to make this loaf of bread, which is a substantial difference. I haven't bought bread at the grocery store or at a bread bakery since I got this book. I haven't even bothered. Okay, so we have 3 cups of bread flour, or all-purpose flour is fine, and we just dump that into the bowl, and then we have raisins, a half a cup. I actually am using craisins because I love cranberries and I want the cranberry walnut bread. There we go. And then we need a half a cup of chopped walnuts, and I'm going to pour that right in. And then we need 1 1/2, they call for 1 1/4 in the recipe, but I actually like it a tiny bit more salty. 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt and a pinch of black pepper that I already threw in there. And then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of dry active yeast and 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. So there are all your dry ingredients. Let me just get rid of all of this stuff right here. And all you're going to do is mix it together. Well, if I could find a utensil that would be worth using, that would be phenomenal. Another downside to having a tiny kitchen. So yeah, you just mix this up. I got my sleeve caught in the drawer there. Now, if you would like to use your hands for the water process, I actually find that to be a little bit easier. It does tend to get pretty sticky, but that's fine. You just roll up your sleeves. Alright, so let's go ahead and dump in the water. It calls for about 1 1/2 cup of water. It's cool, probably about 50 to 65 degree water. And one thing I've noticed is that the bread sometimes doesn't have enough water in it. So if that's the case, just kind of add maybe a teaspoon at a time until it's sticky and wet. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this together with my hands. It's not so hard, is it? I don't think so. Okay, it's almost all mixed together, and I'm going to show you the easiest part of this entire bread, and it comes up for the next 12 to 18 hours, which is so exciting. Basically what you're going to do, I'm going to get my dough off my hands again, is you're going to cover this with saran wrap and let it sit in a warm place on your counter for 12 to 18 hours. And it's very sticky dough. And you're just going to let it sit there and rise. And it will literally double in size. So when we come back, I will show you what it looks like when it's fully risen and when you're ready for the next step. Thanks. Alright, it's about 16 hours later, and here is our dough. As you can see, it's doubled in size, and what we're looking for to see that it's done, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but little pockets of air dotting. That means that it has done its job and the gluten has formed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flour a towel that I have set down, and I usually like to use whole wheat flour or something a little bit more grainy. The all-purpose flour and the bread flour is too fine, I've found. You can try it if you'd like, but it kind of sticks to the towel, and we don't want to let it stick to the towel. So we're getting this prepared for the second rise. Go ahead and get my utensil. So you want to try and get it out in one big piece, and that shouldn't be too hard of a problem. It usually just scrapes right off the bowl. You can put it right on to the floured towel. Okay. So now what I like to do is fold it over itself and make sure that you get the flour on all of the outside, otherwise it will definitely stick at some point because you're going to end up folding the towel over it. And then very quickly, as quick as you can, form it into the smallest ball you can. So I'm going to make sure there's more flour on there. Okay, literally as easy as that. So now I'm just going to coat the top of it to make sure it doesn't stick with some whole wheat flour. And I'm going to fold this towel over the top, and for about an hour to 2 more hours it's going to have its second rise, and you'll know when that's done when it's doubled in size again. 30 minutes before you think it's about done, you want to start preheating your oven, and you want to put your Dutch oven inside the oven to preheat. That's how it works. Alright, we'll see you back in about an hour. Alright, we're back, and I have got my dough right here, and it is done with its second rise, and you can always tell because when you poke it, it doesn't immediately come back. So see. Okay, so I'm going to put it in my preheated Dutch oven, and that's it. Since it's hot, let me get my mitts. Alright. I'm going to pop this in my 475 degree preheated oven, and I'll be back in 30 minutes to take the lid off. Alright, I've just taken the bread out of the oven, and we have about 15 minutes left of baking, but we have to do it with the lid off. I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like, and after about 15 minutes it will be a nice dark brown. It will be beautiful. So I'm going to put it back in the oven, and in 15 minutes we will have our cranberry walnut bread. Alright, well, we've got about a minute left, and it smells delicious in here. I've got my cooling rack, and I just put it on the counter right here, and I'm going to take it out. It's going to look so good. Alright, let's turn the oven off. Always important to do that. You don't want to lose your house. Alright, and here is the delicious loaf of cranberry walnut bread. Doesn't it look beautiful? I don't think you can buy anything that looks even remotely as good as that at the store without paying at least $15. Alright, So it's really important that you let the bread cool. It is still actually cooking when it's cooling. So make sure it cools completely. I know it's really tempting to cut into it. It looks amazing. Let me just get you one last look. What do you think? Do you think you could do it at home? I think you could. All right. Well, this is Danielle signing off for The Foodie. Leave me your comments. Thanks.